This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero. And if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Rob Van Dam, listen to True Hill Heat. Pow!
Hello everyone, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at True Heel Heat. Yeah!
What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching True Heel Heat podcast.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, and we are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube and Facebook for NJPW Destruction in Kobe 2025 review. Discussing yesterday's big show, the latest big show since the G1, the latest big show on the road to Wrestle Kingdom. IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on the line. New IWGP Tag Team Champions crowned. And are we seeing a rematch we didn't expect coming up at King of Pro Wrestling? And we're going to discuss it all as only we can. And to do that, I am joined by, obviously, the most positive New Japan Pro Wrestling fan in the land. It is her life. It is Sonal's life. Sonal, how are you feeling?
I'm doing good. Because we did the preview, and obviously I didn't know if I was going to be here, but here I am. And we were very skeptical going into it, and I can say I did spend the entire show stressing.
Really?
Like yesterday, I was like, especially the main event. And I will discuss this. I was pleasantly surprised by the show. I mean, there was one anomaly that kind of
Yeah.
yeah, but actually
We expected everything that we expected not to deliver. It did, and it was saved to the early on in the. This felt like a very much traditional, very good New Japan B show. This was
because
a
that's what
very
it is,
good.
isn't it? And but we were all worried about it because like just generally like we've aired worries and stuff, and we said our thoughts and things, and I mean I still think that one anomaly should have been 5 minutes shorter. A nice 55-second match would have been great, but I can't complain because I still think it was the shortest match on the entire card.
I think it was. I think it was because I didn't watch that live. I watched it back.
I saw you came
and-
later on. I remember seeing your tweet. I was like, tut, tut, tut. But then I'm like, you're back in America, so understand.
Yeah. It would be different. I would be up at what was it? What would it have been? It would have been 8 a.m. 8 a.m. your time. So yeah, I would have been up at that time. Our time, excuse me. Our time. I would have been up at that time, but yeah, I'm here. So I was like, I appreciate my sleep. And you know, back home I had my kids to wake me up. Here I have some cats who woke me up. So yeah, there you go. There you have it. But yes, we appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all for watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. You can also hype the video. That helps us out so much. Chase let us know on the Victory Road watch party that you could hype the video and we can be among the highest hyped wrestling podcast channels over here. So hype the video, help us out that way if you haven't already as well. And of course, if you're watching us on demand, sound off in the comment section. But if you're watching us live, sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys, hear your thoughts on this past Sunday show from Kobe, Destruction, and what do you think about the road to Wrestle Kingdom that New Japan has set up? And there's been like a lot of interesting conversations that I wanted to talk about with Sonal here, because Sonal is the most positive New Japan fan in the world. So I want to have some overall viewpoint conversations about New Japan with Sonal today, and we'll talk about that. Also have to bring up, because I didn't bring it up on the True Hill Heat flagship podcast on Saturday, the PWI 500 and the injustice that was Zack Sabre Jr.
It's actually like, I saw that, right? And like, you know what? Shout out to Hiroki Goto. You know, shout out to Hiroki Goto for like his plays. But it just seems like blasphemy that Zack Sabre Jr. was because I looked at the list, and obviously I'm not just being biased because I don't really watch other promotions. But Zack's placing, like, obviously Zack probably doesn't care because this is Zack. But I'm just saying, like, as a New Japan fan, it feels wrong that he wasn't on there. Like, well, he was, but like he was so low for everything he has done.
But for like someone that like, and for a list that's mostly about kayfabe, how can you deny someone who, you know, won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in that time frame? He was the IWGP. He had 2 different reigns as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in that time frame. He won the G1 last year in that time frame. Like, yeah, he main evented Tokyo Dome in that time frame. Like, yeah, twice. I mean, come on. Like, what are we really talking about here?
And then it's also, if you're going to like, nobody is more kayfabe than Zack. He's not on social media. Like, here's the thing. He was part of one of the biggest probably moments in New Japan history in terms of like emotionally, like the Goto win. And just, he's obviously TMDK. He's pushing, like, I love Goto, but I would even put, like, I wouldn't say above because I think Goto actually is a special case, but Zack should have been in the like top 10 easily. Yeah,
I think right behind Goto, he was definitely the strongest when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. But I just wanted to bring that up because the fact that you have Joe Hendry ahead of Zack Sabre Jr. that is PWI injustice. I love Joe
love-
Hendry. I'm a huge fan of Joe Hendry. But come on now.
I watched Joe Hendry Field. I interviewed Joe Hendry. I was like one of the, like, obviously in the UK scene. However, I can put out that a lot of Joe Hendry's thing is his character. Wrestling wise, I like, if he was in New Japan, he'd be mid to lower card consistently. Do you know what I mean? So to put that above the technical grandeur of Zack Sabre Jr., who, again, but actually the thing is, Zack has a great character as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's obviously not in your face dramatic, but it's a consistent character that people connect to. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely understand. Like, but you have to look at their criteria, and I when it comes to their criteria, you can't tell me that Zack Sabre Jr. is in top 10. Like, it's based on kayfabe, it's based on achievements, it's based on like your booking, your popularity, then your matches and your input content like that. So I would have obviously put Zack Sabre Jr. in the top 10 for that time frame that they had.
Yeah, because what was the time frame?
It was from August 1st last year to July 31st this year.
It's a G1 win. Like, that's actually insane to me. Because, for example, maybe if you'd have said, oh, okay, January to December this year, or January to now, I could have been like, okay, maybe, because, like, Zack lost the title within, like, a month to Goto, so understandable. But he was literally champion for, like, 4 months, and now he's back again. The G1 win in itself should be massive.
And then and it's hard to top the year that he had last year. And look at the people that was in the running with him for like wrestler of the year last year. None of them are having the year that they had last year. Like, sometimes that's what happens. You have one of these great years, but you're not able to kind of follow it up with another great year back to back. And I think that's what happened to Zack. But if you think of when you consider their time frame is August 1st to now, then it's like, yeah, he had a little bit of a dip off, but he still has 2 reigns as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. He still has 2 Tokyo Dome main events. He still has a match of the year candidate with Hiroki Goto this year. Yeah, like I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Yeah,
you're almost like, okay, thank you for putting Goto in, but it's like New Japan is one of the top promotions. Like other things, not having Zack Sabre Jr., it just like. It's injustice.
Like I was saying before, sound off in the live chat. If you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, send a super chat donation. It helps us out so much, helps the channel grow and move forward. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support. Talking about the PWI, King of the North says PWI have their taken New Japan guy and taken Mexican region guy. They picked Goto and Mystico, which is understandable. Mystico is having a hell of a year. Mystico is like a top 3 wrestler of the year for 2025, and CMLL is my promotion of the year right now. So I definitely understand, Mystico being in there, and Hiroki Goto winning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, setting records with the title, because, having a little bit of like a short kind of boom with Goto.
But he had like defenses every 2 weeks.
Yeah. But like in that 3-4 months of Goto, there was a short boom where tickets were kind of going up. The ticket sales for his win was up. I think one of his a couple of his title defenses were up from the last time they were at that building. And then when he lost the title, it went right back to the decline that we're on, which leads me to my other topic I wanted to bring up before we get into the show, which is New Japan having a down year. We're at the tail end. We're at the end of September. There's only 3 months left of the year. You can kind of have that overview of the year. And New Japan has had a down year. I was big in hyping up the first 3 months of the year, which looked promising, but like something happened in the end of the spring, beginning of the summer, where Gato became Gato again, and it led to a decline that saw the ticket sales for the G1 being the lowest, and besides the pandemic, in 10 years. It saw, people being very disenfranchised with the product due to the focus on the House of Torture and Evil making it to the finals of the G1. Their lack of focus in building up the younger talent and guys like Shota Umino and Yota Tsuji, who, I know there's going to be the haters out there, the people, and both of these guys have haters, but you need to give these guys an opportunity to fail. They're just having them have these big matches and lose the matches. Like the only kind of glaring one where I would say, okay, this guy was given a big opportunity and I feel like didn't come up to snuff was Wrestle Kingdom this year. But you were there at the event. That's kind of like 50-50 when it comes to people. Some people like that match. Some people didn't like that match. But he also has Shota Umino also has that big main event he did with Tetsuya Naito back in 2023, which was a bomb, which didn't go well. So, but Yota Tsuji, that's the guy. They should have went with him this year. They decided not to go with him. It's another failure on the company. Kosei Fujita won the best of the Super Juniors. They failed to capitalize on that. So it's another year where you're failing to kind of push the younger talent. And you have, Wrestle Kingdom as the big light at the end of the tunnel, and that's fine, but it's going down business-wise. Meanwhile, within the same umbrella of Bushi Road, the company in Japan that's having the hottest year to me from the outside looking in is Stardom. Stardom is like really, when it looked like there was kind of going to be a little bit of darkness at the beginning of the year when you lose Mayu Iwatani to Marigold. Over the last 2 years, they lost Julia and Utami Hayashita to Marigold. You lose Tam Nakano to retirement earlier this year. But they have just focused behind Saya Kamatani. They've built up the ladies that were underneath those top stars, and they have become their own stars in like Azumi and Starlight Kid. And then they're focused on the younger talent, and they're on the boom. They're in a boom period basically right now from what they did at All-Star Grand Prix with their highest attendance yet. And everything they've done since then was selling out Kurgan Hall multiple times and Saya Kamatani looking like a Tokyo Sports MVP. What do you think about this whole dynamic where Bushi Road has both the number one company that's on a decline in New Japan, and they also have kind of the outlier niche company and an all-women's company that feels like it's the hottest in Japan?
Yeah, I think it's obviously coming from my perspective, like I've only watched New Japan, so I can't really tell what other companies are doing and stuff, and I obviously know the thing. They showed the destruction actually was slightly higher. I think it's an interesting. We have voiced our opinions on the issues with the booking, and I think the thing is actually, so where my things come is because I've mentioned this. I mentioned this in the Best of Super Junior review and stuff that I'm quite able to separate the booking from the matches. So for me, as long as I like the matches, I'm fine. Which obviously is like very rare. Most people are very much into booking, and I understand that. So for me, I've enjoyed it. There's been match after match, Best Super Junior stuff. Yeah, we mentioned this on the preview actually of like how Gato had changed things up. We specifically mentioned like maybe like 2018 when Roppongi 3K, Jay came back. It was the case of they come back, they win big. We mentioned Hiromu as well, who's obviously the class before. And they've not done that this year. Obviously, we say they've not done that. They did actually do it. So, shockingly, they actually did it in the recent show. Like, I was really like, I was skeptical.
I was genuinely surprised. I went with the KO Bros on True Hill Heat on Saturday after our preview, but I still was surprised. I was like, I'm waiting for Gato to drop the other shoe.
Yeah. It's always an issue. The funny thing is, I think I saw somebody said that somebody did a video and they did like they compared Japanese wrestling and they put Fall for New Japan and then Rise for all the other ones. I
think his name is like Joe Carrisso or something like that. Yeah, it was. I think I've seen that video where you talk about Cyber Fight that has Pro Wrestling Noah and DDT and Tokyo Joshi Pro, and they've kind of built this Japanese pro wrestling conglomerate. You got Marigold, who's kind of on the decline, but they're a new competitor for everybody else. You got Stardom, who's on the rise. You got Dragon Gate, that's having a little bit of a good period as well with their streaming service and their content that they're putting out there. All Japan Pro Wrestling, that's having a better year. And
I got introduced to All Japan like a month ago and was really into it. I think the thing is it's one of those things that because New Japan was top for so long, inevitably it was going to fall, and they have had a rough few years with people leaving. And combining that with the ability of booking, it was never going to match up because New Japan is a bit like a roller coaster. We've always seen like ups and downs and peaks, and this peak has gone on this trough has gone slightly longer just because it's like when one wrestler leaves and you try and fix something, it felt like then you have another one. So you had you started off with like Jay, then Aussie Open, then Ospreay, then Okada, then Tanahashi's retirement, then Naito and Bushi, and it's like, and then obviously House of Torture and stuff. And I think in a sense, a lot of people are doom and gloom about it. They're like, I've seen people, this is the end of New Japan. They will always be the top company in Japan for is coming up, like in the next few years. They're not going anywhere else. No other companies are yet. Stardom, I think, actually will be soon, but Tokyo Dome, like I don't see DDT or Tokyo Joshi doing Tokyo Dome anytime soon. New Japan have a lot that they need to do, but I also feel like we're pretty good with this. Everything that we have is very constructive. When we complain and go, even when me and Jay News go on our rants about Bolton Oleg, everything we do is very constructive. Okay, we see that you mentioned the issues with New Japan is coming from them not pushing the young talent. Like you mentioned with Fuji, I genuinely thought Fuji was winning. And the only thing that I will accept Fuji not winning is if my prediction of Wato at Wrestle Kingdom comes true. That's the only thing that I will accept.
You want Wato Mania and nothing else. What if it's Yo? What if it's Yo?
I would happily take that as well. Because I think, for me, when I say the new generation, to an extent, we always mean the young guys. But I also like the idea, it was the same with Goto, of people who haven't got the shot. Like, because everyone was pushing, young generation. But when Goto won, it was big because he's never done it. I think that'd be the same with Yo. Also, the pop that I would have, I'm sorry, I would be talking about it for years if Yo finally won the IWGP Junior Championship. But I think to say that New Japan is on the fall and is doomed and stuff, you have to look at it as like a long period. Like you said, at the start of the year, there was a massive boom. Goto did well. Then it dipped after that. And I think the big thing will be Wrestle Kingdom. What they do from now until Wrestle Kingdom to see. But I think even whatever happens, booking and stuff, there will be me who really don't. It's not that I don't care for the booking, because obviously it's important, and I kind of don't want to keep continuing having 10 House of Torture matches that are going to give me mini heart attacks. But there will always be people who watch New Japan for the wrestlers and for the matches themselves. So I will always defend New Japan. I can acknowledge that there are issues. Maybe the issues don't affect me, but from a different perspective. But I also think to say that because this has been the discourse 2 years. Every show which maybe doesn't go up to par, New Japan is doomed. New Japan is doomed. And I'm like, it's not doomed. There are issues. But why don't we talk about this in a more constructive way of this rather than everything is awful. But Gato, the thing is though, because the funny thing is we've done this whole thing about the new generation, and then Gato obviously turned the belts with the tag. It's
it's like he hears us, but he gives us crumbs. He doesn't give us a full meal.
Yeah. That's the thing. He gives us glimmers of what we want, and I even mentioned though, it also, it's not just a new, but it depends on what the people want. So for example, we even said, we were like, and this is a spoiler if anyone's watching, but you're watching the review, so I assume you know. If Asuka and Yuto didn't win, it's not like we were really crying, because we do love Ishii and Taichi. So, like, I also kind of understand that them trying to balance, except House of Torture. Anything with House of Torture is like, I don't know what's going on. But, for example, I understand where they're still trying to keep the older faces there because, like, they're all in their 40s, but actually they're still quite in their primes. Like Shingo, Taichi, like even the juniors, Taguchi, Ishimori, their bodies are still very good. We'll probably discuss this when we mention like the Ishimori match and the Shingo match. Zack, all of these guys are in their 40s, are in their prime. So it's a balance. It's trying to balance that. Because I think, is it Noah that everyone complained that they're just pushing the old guys?
Yeah, well, that was the complaint for a while when they had Great Muta as the champion and stuff like that. They've moved a little bit away from that with making new stars like Kaito Kiyomiya and Ozawa. And now you got, I think it's Masa Katamiya, who's now turned heel, who's now kind of looks like the next project or person that they're going to push over there. So they've been doing a good job with that. Seems like every other promotion gets that you kind of got to push the young talent. Or the talent that have kind of just been here, and you got to push them up here. You got to make that little change that they need, like Osaya Kamatani, who was a babyface for so long, who was kind of like right here, and then she turned heel, and she was able to become the biggest star in Joshi wrestling. So they have to figure that out with like the Shota Umino and Yota Tsuji. If it's them who don't feel like they're ready, because I see that Yota Tsuji's ready, but if New Japan doesn't feel,
but I even think guys like Uemura are ready. I even think guys like Uemura are ready.
I think Uemura is ready for like the global championship.
Yeah, but that's
he's ready. He's ready for that. But I'm saying Yota Tsuji's ready for the world championship. That's what pissed me off about his direction.
That he's been ready since he came back. That like,
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, thank you. Because I see, I think it was King of the North. Yeah, he said it in the chat. He said Tsuji should have smoked Sonata in his return match. I think that Sonal has probably heard me say this more than any human being out there in existence over the last 2 years.
As a Sonata advocate back then,
we're in the situation we're in right now because they didn't do it. They didn't pull the trigger then.
The thing is, I think that was the start, I guess, maybe of like the change that they had of like not pushing, because obviously that was where we saw the guys coming back. But I think also, again, we've mentioned this, it's not just the lack of pushing young talent, which is the big thing, it's the lack of heels. It's I said this on my booking video I did a few weeks ago. There needs to be a revamp of the factions. So to an extent, actually, some of it is fine. Unaffiliated is fine. TMDK is fine. War Dogs is fine. Aside from that, everything we need heel factions. The issue comes is House of Torture being the only heel faction, and it's like 30 of them at this point.
This is true. There's too many House of Torture members, and they're the only heel faction, and it just messes up all the dynamic. I think they're trying to kind of fix that with leaning the War Dogs back into kind of more of a heel role, but we'll see how that
They've done a lot of that, especially with Oscar and Yuto have been very good with that. And Finlay's, well, again, we'll mention this later, like Finlay's actions in his match compared to what Ishimori did. But then there's also, I think, the issue with Hontai. This is all Jay White's fault. If Jay White hadn't have turned, Chaos and Hontai wouldn't have got together. I mean, eventually they probably would have. But again, then you also don't have a pure baby, like you have 30 guys in Hontai. Whereas it was always good to have Hontai, the main guys, and Chaos were the cool baby faces. Do you know what I mean? As me, when I started watching in 2018, I was the biggest Chaos fan in the world.
They were the cool baby faces, like the late.
They had all the gold when I was there. They were like, it was Okada, Yoshihashi Ishii, Goto, Roppongi, Jay, Will Ospreay. It was small, but at one point, I think they all held belts apart from Yoshihashi.
That's true.
I think that was 2018.
We got Dustin who says Tsuji may need to tweak a few things. I don't think Tsuji has had a defining match or rivalry yet. I disagree with this.
I disagree with that as well.
Tsuji's had a defining matchup. He's had a 5-star matchup against Gabe Kidd earlier this year. He stole the show at the Tokyo Dome earlier this year. Like, you're not about to tell me he doesn't have a defining matchup. That's the whole reason
this show as well.
He's the leader of the new generation.
he stole this show as well, personally.
There you go.
And in terms of tweaking a few things, I genuinely can't think of what needs tweaking. He has the most diverse style in New Japan. He has the Japanese, British, the heavy like lucha libre stuff that he got from his time in CMLL. His character is perfect. I remember when he came back, and who was it? Kevin Kelly who used to who insulted the smile. That smile is money. That smile shows that Tsuji knows who he is, because that smile comes out at the best of time. Tsuji knows, and you know another reason that is age. Tsuji is a lot older. He's in his 30s. Nothing needs to be changed with Tsuji, except the way he's been booked. Except the way he's been booked.
And Volub's absolutely right. The defining rivalry is him and Gabe. That's the defining.
I was going to say Finlay. I like the Finlay one as well.
If it's not Finlay, then it's Uemura. Like he's got three right now that he's in the middle of. Like just because he's only been back for 2 years. Like what are we talking about? Like it
normally takes people ages to get that defining. Like when you look back at someone's career, it normally takes a while for them to find Okada and Tanahashi too. But with us, we can look back, and we will always look back and say, God, do you remember those matches with David Finlay he had? Because they said I think they've had 6 in 2 years.
And Tanahashi and Nakamura, they were facing each other as young lions, but they really created their rivalry once they started winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. You have to win one of those top titles to have a defining rivalry if you know the meaning of the definition of what you're trying to say.
But Tsuji is doing the best. For someone who's not won a title, Tsuji's doing the best. He's making the most of it. He's always such a huge draw. You can never have a show and go, Tsuji match. You'll never say that. Whereas you might go as an Bolton Ole, you'll always go, there's a Tsuji match. Sorry to drop.
You're always taking shots at Bolton Ole. All right.
No, actually, in my own video, I didn't. In my own video, I didn't mention anything, so I had to drop
That's
it.
That's nice of you. You do it here. You do it here. You keep the.
I save it for True Heel Heat.
So now, I'm sorry. What is your one phrase to describe your overall thoughts on Destruction in Kobe 2025?
Surprising.
There you go. Mine is better than expected.
That's 3.
It said one word or phrase.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I was gonna be like, I stuck to it. Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
We got in our opening matchup. No pre-show matchups on this show. Surprisingly, they usually always have pre-show matchups, so they kept it short, simple.
I'm not gonna lie. I did miss them.
I saw my boy Morishima at ringside. I was like, oh, you didn't get to wrestle today.
And Nagai in the unaffiliated matches, he was being so cute, and I was like, but he's not got a match.
Then you got multi-man action. Multi-man action is what started us off, as you have IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion El Desperado teaming up with his Hontai brothers Shota Umino, Yoshihashi, and Yuya Uemura in 10-man tag team action against the House of Torture. This comes off the heels of Doki challenging Desperado following his win over Yo on the road to destruction. You had Doki teaming up with Dick Togo, Evil, Sonata, and Sho, who are the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. Narita joined Doki in... Sho joined Doki in assaulting Desperado. That resulted in the latter two brawling outside. You get, in the end, it's Evil who tries to rescue Dick, after a failed dick-to-dick contact, only to receive a double drop kick from Uemura and Umino. For his troubles, you get Umino, who sets up Dick to go to Uemura, who hits his Hurricane Rana with the pin combo for the 1-2-3, the same way that he bit Dick Togo in multi-man action on the road to destruction. He picks up the victory here. We got to see Shooter and Yuya working together here. They've already said they intend on being a tag team moving forward, but we did not know how much they intended to be a tag team that we would have to be mentioning more on this show until later. But they did pick up a victory to start the night off right for Hontai. This matchup was fine. I give it 2 3/4 stars. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was meant to be a 6-man tag, but then after the show, with obviously Doki coming out to challenge, then they changed it to 10, which makes sense. I got to see all the Chaos Hontai guys. It's always nice. I'll speak more about Shota and Umura coming up. Some call me Mr. Bondo. What's Yuya and Shota's official team name? Two handsome men. It's not. I don't.
Shooting to the sun. I mean, shooting to the moon. What? He's the
right.
Moon. He's the moon. He's the moon, or
he's the sun. He's the sun.
He's the sun. All right, shooting to the sun.
Someone send this clip to New Japan. This is exactly right. I like that. Yeah, I'm kind of excited for Doki versus Despy, mainly because, and we'll speak about this in the main event, we have seen that House of Torture can do matches without a hell of a lot of interference. And actually, if anyone watched the junior tag match, and we've mentioned this before, actually, the Doki is not cheating any more than he did in Suzuki-gun. And actually, as controversial it is, I think the team of Sho and Doki is really funny, especially if you watch the post-match comments. And it's like Doki's like the older brother trying to control his unhinged younger brother. Because Sho, I've said this, if Sho could just wrestle, and actually, to be fair, the junior match he did quite. The characterization that Sho has got is actually probably one of the best. Because I think everyone always had the issues when he was in Roppongi. That wrestle, but he didn't actually have anything to him.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. They're getting the characters right. It's just it's
not the wrestling.
Package. Yeah, it's just a horrible package because it's the House of Torture, and I don't want to watch their matches most of the time. I had to watch the main event twice because I was like, I know what's gonna happen, and then it actually wasn't.
You panicked. You panic.
I was like, oh, okay, I can actually watch.
I was literally tweeting. I was like, I'm really suspicious because why is Ren Narita actually wrestling? And then obviously the interference happened. I was like, oh, but then when they went, and I was like, oh, this is gonna happen again, and it didn't. And I was like, am I missing something? Did I fall asleep during the match or something?
It's like, for once, I'm impressed with you. We got Temple Plays, who says, Knockout Brothers, Bumblacot. The Bumblacot, we talked about that on our preview here. Yeah. We got Temple Blaze, who says Yota Ice when he says Bumblacot is so good. LOL.
This is the issue. This is what we're saying.
I have to say, I am completely convinced this is a gimmick that's gonna work, because I had a lot of casual fans of New Japan who hit me up and it was like, oh man, the person who impressed them the most was Yota Ice. Because of the character, yeah. And it being so different from everything else on the show.
I think I mentioned this on the preview. It's the nuances which are issues, but actually the general change in character of Yuto has been amazing. Because if anyone has been watching True Heel Heat for a long time, the hate that I give to Bolton Oleg now was what poor Yuto got as a young lion. I think at one point I didn't think he was making it out of the dojo, because he obviously had the injury and then the thing. So actually, yeah, I mean, there are some issues with the character, but he has the complete 360 he has done, or 180 or whatever, has made him stand. And actually, I think we'll mention this later when we talk about match. His in-ring style as well is insane. I didn't think that Yuto had it in him. I was like, wow, Yuto.
Hard. You can already see him in a BMF. He's going to be a BMFer. He's going to be that. You already see it in that matchup, and we'll get to that in a little bit here. First up, you had up next Hiroshi Tanahashi in the final road against the Great Okan.
Great-O-Khan trying to get his first victory over Hiroshi Tanahashi of his career in his last chance to do it. We get a series of left and right hooks. Left Khan clutching his midsection. Tanahashi moving fast, or as fast as he can. Tanahashi had his legs worked over throughout the matchup. Tanahashi then, though, would make his comeback, take advantage of this with a sling blade. He tried to go for high fly flow, but he failed. Khan stole 2 sling blades of his own, showing off that he knows a little bit something about Tanahashi's game plan, and then gets him in the Iron Claw. Tanahashi, though, he's able to reverse into a fall in love victory roll for the 1-2-3 to snatch the win here. I expected, Great-O-Khan. I expect anyone who hasn't beat Tanahashi to at least get one win on Tanahashi. And since that was the story going into the matchup, I kind of expected O-Khan to get the matchup. Not surprising though to see Tanahashi get the win here, as they only got so many dates. He can always rest easy that John Cena decided to retire in the same year. So regardless of how Tanahashi may look walking, it is still a better retirement tour in 2025. It's still the best. It's still the best. Post-match, Kaito Kiyomiya comes out from Pro Wrestling Noah. He congratulated the Ace. He says that he wants to see Tanahashi in a Noah ring before he retires. So he challenges him for October 10th in Ryogoku at Wrestle Odyssey. It's going to be Hiroshi Tanahashi one-on-one with Kaito Kiyomiya. That's cool. That's dope. That was a nice little surprise on this show here. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Great-O-Khan. It was kind of just a match for me. It was kind of just here. I gave it 2.5 stars. What did you think, Sonal?
It's interesting. It was... How many times have we spoken about O-Khan? So many of the inconsistency. This is one of his better matches in the sense that he was doing mat-based work. And that is where O-Khan thrives. They thrive on the mat, and it also helped because Tanahashi's knees are fucked, so Tanahashi's very good on the mat. I said on the preview I thought he was going to win, but it seems like him losing, they're going to continue this swerve for the Empire. Because obviously the Empire's in kind of ruins at the moment. We've got Callum, I think, is back in the UK. JY is in America. Akira's obviously injured and stuff. So that'll fit into it. I need O-Khan to do something. And I'm going to they need to figure out what they want. Are they character driven? Are they moveset driven? Are they, as someone pointed out, being an influencer or something? Do you know what I mean? With all the promo and stuff like that. So O-Khan needs to sort stuff out, but maybe that will in turn link to... Yeah, he's a brand ambassador of LB, that's very true. They need to link to something there. In terms of the Kaito Kiyomiya, I was already on the edge of whether I was going to resubscribe to Wrestle Universe, because there's quite a few big DDT shows in November I want to watch. This one just certified that I'm just going to buy the subscription in October. Because Kaito Kiyomiya versus Tanahashi, yes, please. Yes, please.
Well, I got corrected by Vala, who admittedly watches more Noah than me. He says that Tanahashi and Kaito will be tagging. It's not a one-on-one. They'll be tagging with one another, which seems to make more sense.
And that's even better, because now we finally found the world's most handsome tag team. But I think it's really cool. There's a lot of Noah on this show. And I think what people need to realize, I think we mentioned, obviously, you were saying that the cyber world has it. But actually, since this, I can't remember what it was called, but all the Japanese promotions coming together, the amount of conjoined shows and stuff, because in November, they mentioned DDT, you've got guys from TMDK going over. It's so nice to see all of these different guys going to these different promotions. The Noah presence in New Japan, New Japan's in DDT, DDT in Noah. It feels like Japanese pro wrestling, there was a time where everything was so separate. You know, if you left this company, you are basically an outsider, you have been banned. But it feels like, compared to, let's say, Western wrestling, everyone is just coming together and joining. That'll be the UJPW. Yes. that everyone is coming together, and it's so nice to see. Like, it's great. And obviously, loads of people want to see Tanahashi in a Noah ring. It's like he's doing his rounds as well. And this body has allowed that to become a thing, which it wouldn't have been a thing 10 years ago. Tanahashi and Noah teaming with a Noah guy.
Yep, UJPW, we have to thank for it. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun matchup, fun tag team matchup with Kaito Kiyomiya teaming with Hiroshi Tanahashi on October 10th. What a weekend that's gonna be, because you got that, you got Crown Jewel is gonna be starting, I think early for WWE fans. Then you also got King of Pro Wrestling on October 13th that weekend. So the busy weekend of pro wrestling for sure. But what wasn't busy, Sonal, is our next matchup.
I didn't watch it, by the way, just a pre-warning. I didn't watch it.
Well, lucky you. Thanks.
I watched bits of it. I managed to catch bits of it while I was getting ready.
Thanks for letting me know. We could have done a group protest of this. Finlay immediately attacks his opponent, repeatedly throwing Bolton down, even tumbling him out of the ring before he got back to his feet. Bolton gets back. He charges at Finlay, going so far as to stagger him before ultimately toppling him down. He hits a vertical suplex on him. He hits a body slam on him, getting the fans excited. Unfortunately, Finlay has gone right into the House of Torture bag of tricks and takes the referee. This leads to interference from the Dick Togo, from Evil. Yes, his Evil Dick. We get dick-to-dick contact from Finlay, Evil, and Dick, tormenting the dick of Bolton. However, Bolton is able to fight back. He fights off Evil and Dick on the apron. He then hits Finlay, showing his strength, getting him on his shoulders, hitting the Kamikaze for the 1-2-3 to retain the Never Openweight Championship. However, no time to celebrate. Even before he can get to his feet, Evil and Dick are just attacking him. Dick basically wraps a choker around his throat as Evil then plants him with Everything Is Evil. He essentially demanded a match with Bolton in the future and demanded the production truck play his music. Oh, this sucked. This was not good.
I said on Twitter that I wasn't going to watch it. I didn't. And then I looked over at one point and Evil was there and I was like, goodbye.
This match sucked. It was not good. A dud.
It went 5 minutes 55. It should have gone 55 seconds.
It shouldn't have gone that extra 55. Shouldn't have gone that extra 56.
It should have been. What's the quickest match? Did they have like a Super Junior, which was like 5 seconds or something that Taguchi did or something? We needed that length of a match.
I wish. That would have been to his benefit.
The thing is, right, the problem is I've got my grievances with Oleg, and then you put someone that got grievances because they're boring as fuck, and then you put them with Finlay. And you're like, Jesus, what have I done to deserve this? But honestly, I'm so grateful that it went as short as it did and that Oleg won, but I think he's losing the next match.
Doesn't it make you have sympathy for him, though?
No.
Damn, that's tough. No, I saw this. I agree with you, though. I saw this post-match angle, and I was like, yeah, Evil's winning this title, isn't he?
But, can I say this? Evil as an ever champion, it keeps him away from everything else.
But it's all about who's gonna dethrone him at Wrestle Kingdom. Who are they giving the Never Openweight title to?
Never title's never on the Wrestle Kingdom card. Well, hardly ever.
It's always on Wrestle Kingdom card.
Is it?
It's always on Wrestle Kingdom card. Yeah.
I know it was this year because it was actually a good match because it's Takeshita.
Yeah, this year it was Takeshita.
Like the only time it was good.
This year it was Takeshita and Shingo. Last year I think it was Shingo and I want to say Tama Tonga before he left. Because that was that weird shit where he won the title and then announced that he was leaving and then lost the title to Evil. Then 2023.
Yo, your memory, you got a great memory bank, you know.
I tried my best. I think
does Evil even keep it that long? Because we know that the Never title, can he keep it for 2 months?
2023 was Carl Anderson versus Tamataga.
Jeez, I remember that because they brought Carl Anderson back. Oh, I remember that.
It sucked so bad. Oh, it was so bad, guys. It was
really
so bad.
I don't know who's gonna do.
You don't want to remember it.
No. There's certain things I always say that if I don't remember it, it's because I've like erased it. It's like whenever you tell me, oh, do you remember when Evil won the G1 or Evil was heavyweight championship? I was like, what? That happened? Because I think I scrubbed it mentally from my brain. Oh, Dunstan Williams is a list. Oh, there are some good ones. Suzuki and Goto, Ospreay versus. Yeah, I don't know why I think
Suzuki and Goto, I believe, was it 2019 or 2020?
No, Ospreay, I think it was earlier than that.
Because Ospreay and Ibushi was 2019. Cobb and Shingo was 2021.
I think Goto and Suzuki was 2018 because that was the first Wrestle Kingdom I watched.
You're right. Yes.
And I remember thinking, I didn't know anybody. And I remember thinking, who are these badass granddads fighting the fuck and shaving hair off?
Who was this badass granddad who just shaved his head in
the middle of the ring?
Nothing. It was like nothing in the middle of the ring. That made you a fan of Suzuki forever?
I mean, I already know, like, I didn't know about Go, but I knew Suzuki because of the UK independent scene. He was quite prominent there. So I always knew about the Murder Granddad. Murder Granddad is someone I know very well.
And 2022 was Evil versus Tomohiro Ishii.
Poor Ishii, man. Because I guess
someone in that Tomohiro Ishii spot.
I think the sad thing is, though, that if Evil wins again and he retains it for a while, he's probably going to be a name associated with the title, similarly to the likes of Suzuki, Goto. That's the worrying thing because you know what I mean? It's the worrying thing because he's held it multiple times.
I don't want to even think about that.
I know.
Yeah, the never title is like synonymous with the Wrestle Kingdom card. That's why I was like, yeah, they're gonna have.
Maybe I was thinking of the 6-man.
Yeah,
which is
the
never
number 6
on
man.
there. Maybe
it's never on Wrestle Kingdom. It's on New Year's Dash at best.
Yeah, you and Jane, you should go to Japan and demand that we defend our title.
We demand it now.
Put us on the Wrestle Kingdom card.
Let's talk about the other titles we're going for. Since it's just me and you, we're going for the IWGP World Tag Team Championships. I
think with our sizes, it might have to be the junior belts.
I mean, I'll put on some weight, but you're probably right. We had the Knockout Brothers challenging the Taichi and Tomohiro Ishii, the champions. The Knockout Brothers is the combination of Oscar and Yuto Ice. They have a whole new theme music and entrance. And I'm watching with my friend, and immediately when Yuta Ice came out, he's like, "Who is this brother? Why is he crip walking to the ring?" He was popping for Yuta Ice. Ishii immediately chopped Yuta Ice as well as Oscar. You get Taichi chopped down Yuta Ice and kicked him wildly. Then you get the Knockout Brothers coordinated their offense to wear down Taichi a bit. In the corner, Ishii endured Yuto Ice's onslaught of kicks and bumblakat. Then you get Ishii, who commanded control with the German suplex, providing some ample time for Taichi to come in. He starts grappling, starts putting on submissions on the towering Oscar. Days after failing to charge Taichi, you get Oscar, who collapsed, falling to a kick to the head. Dangerous backdrop lent the War Dogs enough passage to tag Yuta Ice in. There, his fellow partner dropped Ishii with a headbutt. We get Oscar, who retaliated. He hits a big boot, only for Taichi to throw him down in the line of fire for Ishii. The Knockout Brothers reconvene to destroy Ishii with what Chris Carlton referred to as the rumbling, which was like a double powerbomb combination, only getting a near fall. Yuto Ice capitalized. He hits a big kick to the chest of a seated Ishii. Taichi saved Ishii with an axe bomber to Yuto Ice. He then hits the dangerous backdrop to Oscar. Ishii planted Yuto Ice with a power driver after Taichi hit a kick to the head, basically stealing the finisher of the Knockout Brothers. Oscar, then he would retaliate. He threatened the champion's comeback. Well-timed kick from both quelled his uprising. You get Ishii then crumbled by Oscar, who laid him out with a big kick to the head. They then followed things up with the KOB for the 1-2-3. The KO brothers are your new IWGP World Tag Team Champions, winning the titles in their first opportunity following excursion, coming back at the G1 final, and now they are the champions. Really impressive way to kind of really put them at the top of the tag team division immediately as we head into World Tag League season, But they already know who their first challenge will be, as after the matchup, out came Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura, the newest tag team from Hontai. They came out, they got into the face of the Knockout Brothers. On behalf of Uemura, Umino challenged the new champions for a future match. Yuto Ice wanted to hear none of that crap. He got right into the face of Uemura. He accepted the challenge. Commentary brought up that Yuto Ice responded this way because his first debut matchup was against Yuya Uemura in Kurgan Hall, where he suffered that shoulder injury that kept him sidelined and cost him months of his career, very at the start of his pro wrestling career. So he has a vendetta against Yuya Uemura, which should make that for an intense tag team matchup. And they got a hell of an act to follow, because this was great. This was great. All four men went out there. They gave us a hard-hitting, very compelling matchup where Ishii and Taichi could realistically retain the titles. So it was unpredictable who was going to win in the end. And when the KO brothers put it all together, it felt meaningful and it felt like they were elevated due to the win because of the fashion in which they got to win. So well done, story told. I gave this 4.25 stars. What did you think, Sonal?
When I said the word to describe was surprise, this was the surprise of the night because of just how good it is. It was 4 big beefy men slapping the shit out of each other. And the reason I think that this match did as well as it did, if you watch the post-match comments, and I mentioned this on when I've been watching the Knockout Brothers interviews and stuff, they're heels, but they respect their senpais. Even in the the post comments, and they were gushing about how good Ishii and Taichi are, and Yuto was going, "This is why I love pro wrestling. We're the best people in the world, the most toughest." And it's that mutual respect, but still that chip that they have on the shoulder that allowed this, because Ishii and Taichi have it. They have that chip because they were seen as the dark horses coming in. Obviously, if everyone knows, they had it's them and Honda and stuff. The black sheep, I think they called them. And then obviously Yuto and Oscar. Yuto, obviously, like we said, no one really had much high hopes for him. And they, we said, that the fact that we didn't know who was going to win, that we were on the edge, made it even better. Then you put that in with the great wrestling and the great storytelling. And that's why it did so well. I was majorly surprised about how good, because the character aside, Yuto and Oscar's offense and their skills have improved vastly. Even from when I saw them even when we saw them at Royal Quest last year, massively improved.
They've gained a lot from their excursion. They've really come together.
Excursion.
Here we go again. I can't escape this. I'm usually used to this from J News. We got
I will
Mr.
keep pushing how important this excursion is, and it is shown by the comparison of Bolton Oleg and Yuto. Yuto, I had no hope for. Look at him now. Bolton, I had no hope for. Still got no hope for.
Quote me, Mr. Banda says, "Shooters in the Sun versus Knockout Bros at King of Pro Wrestling. Gonna be so good, it'll make you want to slap your mama." Laughing
Don't tell
emoji,
Yuto, because that's going to be his new catchphrase.
He will. He definitely will state that. Ninja Mortis, one of our members of the channel as well, who says, even with Yuta's questionable gimmick, this was the best thing to do. Get that reject evil coat, evil coat of Oscar, and we'll be golden. KO Bros is my favorite. Is one of my favorite things in New Japan right now. I don't blame you, because it's actually an effective use of young talent and positioning young talent to become stars, which is rare in New Japan nowadays.
I like the jacket. I think the reason the jacket works is because of Oscar's height. And also, it's like you've got the very nice contrast between Yuto and Oscar, that you've almost got like Yuto being the mouthpiece, though actually Oscar is very good at speaking. His post-match comments are very good. But you have Oscar as that big domineering, like with the long trench coat. Evil doesn't own like big long coats. Like even like Jay used to have that long coat. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a proof of domineering. It's just Evil has taken it and kind of made it a bit sad.
Made it his own in his sad way.
To be fair, though, when Evil was like obviously the King of Darkness in LIJ, the coat was great. He had the big scythe and everything. So it's just House of Torture, isn't it?
There you go. All right, now we're gonna start the unaffiliated versus Bullet Club War Dog series.
Oh, can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
That last match, I think that was like the start of where the show was just bang after bang after bang after bang.
Yeah.
Like that's
yeah.
where I was
This started the KO Bros versus Ishii and Taichi really started the flow of where all the rest of the matches delivered in their own way, including Hiromu Takahashi defending the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship against Taiji Ishimori. These two men know each other very, very well. We talked about it on the preview. Champion and challenger entered with a sprint, each transitioning from top Tombstone Power Driver to Tombstone Power Driver. They spilled outside. Ishimori planted Takahashi with a Spaceman plancha, which looked like it was chaotic as hell. For equal measure, you get Takahashi, who comes back. He hits a big Falcon Arrow, having caught Ishii's low blow attempt earlier. Takahashi then inevitably fell victim to it, but survived a Gato clutch that looked like it almost was going to put him away. Worn down, you get Ishii landed a 450 splash on Takahashi. I thought the cool part about this matchup was, despite his protests to winning the GAC Junior Heavyweight Championship, Ishimori became Junior Heavyweight Ishimori from his GHC days, from his Noah days, pulling out the 450 splash, doing the Spaceman plancha to the outside. We saw a little bit more quickness from Ishimori throughout this matchup as well. He would go for a bone lock. He had it clutched in for a bit. Ishimori applied extra pressure to stop a rope break, but his damaged ribs from the failed 450 continue to bog him down as Takahashi was able to hit a time bomb 2, picked up Ishimori to hit the original time bomb 1 for the 1-2-3 to retain the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. Post-match, Ishimori clutched the belt from the referee en route to Takahashi and handed it over to him, showing his respect, giving him a stamp of approval as one of the greatest GHC Junior Heavyweight champions of all time. Takahashi didn't notice as he was celebrating that Ita had made his way to the ring. His Noah upcoming challenger shocked him with a super kick. Ita challenged Takahashi for the title at October 11th's Wrestle Odyssey. So a lot of buildup for the Wrestle Odyssey show between this and the Tanahashi and Kaito Kiyomiya tag team matchup. But this match here, really good stuff. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. I thought they went out there. They had a very compact matchup. Didn't have all the highs and lows of like their best work, but still a very good matchup. What did you think?
I think actually what was interesting, because we mentioned on the preview that they've done it so many times, how can they beat it? But I don't think they tried to beat it. They did something different. Like they kept mentioning Ishimori was doing a very different offense that people who watched him in Noah would recognize. And what I love is that he did that 450 and he hit it perfectly. But commentary did a perfect thing of saying, but why does it hurt? Well, it's because Ishimori doesn't do this anymore. Ishimori was like almost showing like a babyface stance, even when he gave the like seal of approval and like I think in post match, Hiromu said that Ishimori, did he say like I'm entrusting you or I'm like depending on you? Basically, the whole idea that Ishimori wants Hiromu to keep it in New Japan, and I think that's the thing. Sometimes when people wrestle each other so much, they can just rehash it. But with this Noah thing, they were able to do something different. And actually, I think Ishimori was the star of this match. Like, it was something
I think he was too.
from him.
Yeah, he was really good. He was really good in this matchup, kind of showing his speed, showing his athleticism, his agility. I like the storytelling with the 450 splash, hurting him and hurting his ribs, which inevitably led to his demise in the matchup.
Yeah, and I think again, having Eita come, you're seeing something different. You're seeing companies overlap. You're seeing belts being done. Like, it was quite funny when he came out and they started booing, and he's like, "Why are you booing me? I've been living here for 15 years. Shouldn't you be cheering me?" he felt, but obviously, I know that like people watch a lot of promotion, but there's still a sense of like you're protective over your own company. I remember when I first got into New Japan and I first got Wrestle Universe, or like it was DDT Universe back then. And Tanahashi, it was at the point Yo was a young lion, but Tanahashi, massive babyface in New Japan. Everyone loved him. But him and Yo went over to DDT, and the boos they got, and Tanahashi was really healing up, because there's still that sense of like the New Japan fans like, you come into our promotion? Sorry, you're beating up our Hiromu? I know he's GHC, but he's our Hiromu. Do you know what I mean? I can't think of a word. There's a word for it. Like, I can't remember. There's a word for it, but like,
I agree. I agree. Like, it's different because of like the company lines. The company lines still exist. It's depending on like who's working with who. Like, I think especially in a place like Japan that is so about tradition and like the original kind of like textbook stuff when it comes to pro wrestling. Like, they still teach it in the New Japan dojo, and you see a lot of that from how the fans react to things. Fans want to be a part of the show. Sometimes they will dictate things like, you know, Tetsuya Naito becoming the big baby face that he became. That was really the fans thinking he was this cool heel that they had to cheer for. And we're kind of seeing something similar with that over in Stardom with Saya Kamatani, with the fans getting behind her slowly but surely over there, where they just react to her like she's a superstar. Like, she kind of gets the Joshi equivalent of like a Roman Reigns reaction. And you see it in America all the time, and you'll see it in New Japan as well. And you saw it last year with like Shota Umino and the fans booing him. So they had to kind of revert the way they use him, and that's why he's in the tag team division now.
You can see it with the War Dogs as well, who are pure heels, but now they're sort of tweeners. Like, you'll even see we'll mention with the upcoming King of Pro Wrestling, there's a match between Sonada and Driller. Because like, while it's quite interesting with War Dogs is that there's like a kind of a split where you've got people like Oscar and Yuto and Finlay who edge more to maybe the heelish side. Then Ishimori, who's in the middle. But then guys like Clark Connors, Driller, Gabe, who are more on like the babyface side. And that's quite interesting. And that is because the crowd started to warm to them. Do you know what I mean? It's same with the Empire. The Empire were meant to be heels, but very quickly they became babyfaces because you had like the likes of Akira and Ospreay.
Yeah. It happens a lot in New Japan and in Japanese wrestling culture in general. But let's talk about the second match in this series between Unaffiliated and the Bullet Club War Dogs, as this one was a grudge match. Yota Tsuji going one-on-one with his arch nemesis, David Finlay. These two men know each other very, very well. Finlay wasted no time unloading some fist on Tsuji. The two men fought to the outside, battling alongside the barricade along the entrance ramp. We get a Northern Irish curse backbreaker, left Tsuji flat on the ramp while devastating Finlay's knee at the same time. We get Finlay's dominance, which see him using his power over and over again. He sends Tsuji's Frankensteiner incoming, so he tried to stop it. His neck and spine gave in, though, leading to a thunderous landing for Finlay. Finlay finally came back with a big lariat. You get exposing the top turnbuckle. You get Finlay's hubris caused him to bite him in the back, which really was a turning point in the matchup, as Tsuji would lead him into the ring post shoulder first. He would work over him after that, really seizing the opportunity. He came in and hits him with a big tope suicida, leading to Finlay crashing into the barricade back first and falling onto the Japanese announce table. We get Tsuji dove between the ropes. Again, you get Finlay then came back. He sent Tsuji flying into the exposed turnbuckle and then sent him back first into the mat with a big power bomb. Tsuji came back firing with a German suplex. There was just high-fired, high-impact offense the entire way through after that. You get consecutive knees, tenderize Tsuji, leading to a kind of weak overkill. He wasn't able to get him up for it, which caused a near fall. Tsuji would come back with a Gene Blaster of his own, which Finlay would kick out at 2.99. Perching Finlay on the top rope, you get Tsuji, who hits a big Guerrero special and then finishes Finlay off with a second Gene Blaster. 1, 2, 3. Yota Tsuji once again defeats David Finlay, repeating the feat that he accomplished in 2024. Going 2-1 against Finlay, winning the trilogy of matches this year, and well on his way to another title opportunity. But what title would it be? Post-match, you get Tsuji showing some respect to Finlay, offering the hand to him. Finlay would not take the offer of respect. He would leave, but he wouldn't show any upright disrespect, kind of keeping his tweener stance here. So good stuff there. But what did you think about Yota Tsuji versus David Finlay? I thought that this was another great match from this, guys. I don't know if it's as high. I'm not as high on it as I was on the Wrestle Kingdom matchup, but just these guys don't know how to have anything other than a great matchup. I've only seen them have great matches over and over again since last year's semifinals in the G1, and they did it yet again here. I give it 4.25 stars. Sonal, what did you think?
Controversially, I mean, I still love the one. This is one of my favorite matches of the year, mainly because, right, whenever we say match of the year, it's always for a title, for this, for that. Apart from, like, I guess, a chance of there was really nothing on the line apart from that. This was just pure hatred between the two, the pure rivalry. And this is a quick spoiler. This was my match of the night. It was, they mentioned on commentary, this started much faster than their other bouts have. Like, he was much more hard hitting from the start. Like, I think Finlay kicked out of a Gene Blast. Tsuji kicked out of an overkill. Like, my heart was pounding, and like, there's not even like a bat, and that's when you know it's a good match. And I liked because you meant, I'm not going to go through the match because you mentioned what happened during the match, but the end bit I love because obviously we saw what happened with Ishimori, but with Finlay it was a case of like, we're not going to be friends, but but because of the way he acted, and it was quite a calm response from Finlay. It's almost like Finlay's acknowledging, and he did it in the post-match. Yeah, fair enough. Like, this was good. They know they have magic in that ring. And it was funny because Finlay was like, if I ever shake your hand with my right hand, make sure to check there's not a weapon in the left. Still playing on that heel. Just to remind you, War Dogs, we are bad guys. But it was...
Keep you on your toes.
It was phenomenal. Like, obviously, J News isn't here, but even J News again. Finlay is one of the most underrated guys. I feel like people... I mean, we obviously rave about him. Like, I've loved Finlay since I started. I had issues when he first became Bullet Club leader because I didn't think he had his own version of who he should be. But one of the MVPs, I think, of New Japan. People won't say that. I think that he's never going to be there, but he is. He's having
he's in my top 5. I would say the top 5 for the year for New Japan has been Despy, ZSJ, Goto, and then I would probably put Finlay right there.
Yeah, so would I, because it's not just his character work, it's his in-work, it's everything he's done, and this shows it because sometimes, like with Tsuji, we always say Tsuji's great, he can make a good match out of anyone, but this wasn't that case. This was that Finlay held his own. He wasn't getting pulled up by Tsuji. Tsuji wasn't making this match. Finlay was a huge part of this. Finlay was the reason that he can do it because, Tsuji can have great matches with a lot of people, but this was something different. This was magic.
They just know each other so well, and they have these different dynamic than you'll see from any other person facing Tsuji. Tsuji, you'll get the people who want to go more technical against him. You'll see the people who want to hit him with a lot of interference and nefarious means, whereas Finlay just uses his power. And his power comes off so much more impressive when he's doing it to someone of Tsuji's size. And then Tsuji will come back and he'll bust out the whole array, where Tsuji might pick like, okay, I want to do more of my Japanese learnings. I want to do more technical and high impact moves, or I want to go more lucha and do more of like the arm drags and the Guerrero special and stuff like that. With Finlay, he busts out everything. He has to bring the whole arsenal to be able to beat him because his strength is so much better than Tsuji's.
And it'll be interesting to see, because obviously Finlay's lost again. It'll be interesting to see where Finlay goes from here. Like, what happened? I think someone mentioned Mr. Bonda, how many days until Finlay gets jumped? We don't know, you know?
It ain't happening.
It's not happening.
It's gonna be Gabe. It's gonna be Gabe who gets jumped out.
I kind of think that, like, could there be, I don't know if it will, but I was mentioning how, like, we've got the diverse range of, like, characters within Bullet Club. Are we going to see the likes of Finlay move away with Oscar and Yuto? And then have Gabe, Driller, and, like, Clark. But then maybe Clark, because Clark's got, obviously, Wheel-san. So maybe Clark.
He would fit in with the bad side.
Yeah, exactly. And Ishimori maybe would fit in more with, like, Gabe and that. So there's that way. And there's a lot you can do. This is what I mean. War Dogs is still one of the strongest factions because there's so much you can do with it. And, like, even I know some people might not like Wheel-san, but the way Clark does it is very clever. Do you know what I mean? It fits for Clark.
It does work for him. But speaking of the Bullet Club War Dogs, they had to avoid the sweep now, Sonal, with the third match in this 3-match series, unaffiliated versus Bullet Club War Dogs, as Gabe Kidd defended the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship against Shingo Takagi. You knew with these two men, this would be hard-hitting, it would be intense, and boy, oh boy, was it from not only the opening bell, but before the opening bell. These two men start brawling before the bell even rung. They trade chair shots at each other. They sword fight with them. Then eventually Gabe smashes a chair over Shingo's head. Their war spread into the emerald floor of the greater Kobe crowd. You get blood flickered from the face of Gabe Kidd during this fight in the crowd beneath his right eye. The two traded chops and forearms and lariats. Takagi laid defenselessly on the apron by Gabe. He endured a senton and a vertical suplex. You get a vertical suplex onto the mat where Despy has to save Shingo's life by moving the barricade out of the way, which looked like a dangerous spot there. You get Takagi flung Kidd over his shoulder as the wrestlers drop to the floor. You get Takagi then told the referee his arm might be damaged. Returning to the ring, Shingo let loose a series of elbows to Kidd's bosom. Then he gets him with the lacerated wound of Takagi's was on full display here. You get southpaw lariats, kept Kidd laying on the mat. Back and forth exchange, you get exploder suplexes. We get a Hurricane Rana from the ropes by Shingo. We get a southpaw lariat gifted Kidd with hope and control of the matchup. He had set up tables at ringside, and they would come to his demise as he fell victim to a Made in Japan off the apron through both tables. Brutal spot, probably the most brutal spot of the whole entire night. So devastated was Kidd's carcass. He had cuts all over the back of his head. He takes the whole 20 count to get back into the ring, getting back at like 19.5. Takagi greeted him with a power bomb that got him a near fall. Burning Dragon, Kidd somehow, someway kicks out. He rose to stop a pumping bomber with a power driver, but that's not able to put Shingo away. Takagi responds with a great sequence ending with a poison Rana. We get Kidd who answered back with a big old lariat. He then hits the A knee.
He then picks up Shingo, drops him with the drill a hole power driver. 1, 2, 3. Gabe Kidd retains the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, and nothing short of a straight up banger. This is what usually the Never Openweight Championship would consist of: a high impact, physically intense war. These two guys went out here and gave us a main event before the main event. You got the table spots, you got the long duration, you got the war of attrition style matchup, and they really delivered on that here. This is one of the better matchups that I've seen from Gabe Kidd this year. I give it 4.5 stars. Post-match, though, is where I have my issue. You get Kidd, who's celebrating his win. We get Shingo and Kidd showing respect to one another. When out comes Yota Tsuji, and I'm so confused. I'm like, dude, you just won. You should be going for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. You should wait to come out to the next show after Takeshita wins instead of coming out now. But he comes out and he challenges Gabe Kidd to face him for a return match from Dominion for the Global Heavyweight Championship at King of Pro Wrestling on October 13th. To me, this reads as New Japan is actually serious, because before this matchup, the video package for Gabe Kidd versus Shingo Takagi, the focus of the ending of the video package was on a recent promo that Gabe said where he wants to be Global Heavyweight Champion and challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Yota Tsuji has also said the same thing, that he would like to be Global Heavyweight Champion and challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. So the writing was on the wall for this matchup. I don't know if you should be going back to this matchup so quickly. I don't know if Tsuji should be going after the global title when he should be in the world title picture. So I'm conflicted on this post-match, but I love the matchup. This was splendid and exactly what I wanted from Gabe Kidd and Shingo. What did you think about the match and the post-match with Tsuji's challenge tonight?
Can I say, I was surprised that there were quite a few people who didn't like this match, which I didn't understand. Like,
who didn't like this match? See, this is why I don't listen to certain people.
I don't know if it's because a lot of people just don't really like Gabe, but like then it's like overshadowing, which I can get their point. But I was like you. I love this match. Like, I think people said they didn't like the tables. Gabe, it works for Gabe because Gabe, we've said it, he's the fucking madman. He's unhinged, things happen, and this animosity is, and what I loved, and actually Gabe did great, to Shingo Takagi, because this sort of stuff isn't really what he's used to. Shingo is a straight up fighter, but he embraced these tables and chairs and like everything on the outside he embraced this craziness of Gabe. And that's why it worked so well. If Shingo wasn't 110% into this, it could have been awful. Do you know what I mean? But it was Shingo's willingness to go the full mile, to go to the outside, to do all of it, to that help. Like at the post-match comments, I always bring this up because actually the post-match comments are very interesting. Of where Shingo was like, fake kid. No, Gabe Kidd-san. He's like, I should be respectful to you now, and it's stuff like that makes these matches much more impactful. Like, it's great in terms of the Tsuji thing. I'm feeling the same. We mentioned this. We thought it would be for the heavyweight title, didn't we? Like, we thought whoever wins this is going to come out. I get why. I think the only thing could be is Tsuji taking it back?
That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing that Tsuji takes it back at King of Pro Wrestling, and then he challenges the winner of ZSJ and Takeshita.
That's the thing. I found it very weird. Not that I complain, because actually, again, they do have a good chemistry. It's just because then this started the whole discourse of, well, actually, are we going to get Tsuji going into Wrestle Kingdom as global champion? And then a lot of people have brought this up. Takeshita versus Hiroki Goto.
I've seen that, but with Goto coming back at King of Pro Wrestling, I think Goto comes out after Takeshita wins, and that's power
so soon.
That's power struggle.
But then who would
you do?
You do that at Power Struggle, and you do Tsuji versus someone at Power Struggle, so you make them both look strong at the last show, and then they make the challenge at the end.
Just to say, it's not Power Struggle this year. It's Hiroshi Tanahashi's retirement shows, like a special show for that. I think that's what they mentioned. Yeah, because we kept discussing Power Struggle, but I think they mentioned in the post-match comments that they kept mentioning this Tanahashi show. So no double dash, no Dunster. I'm not doing no double gold. That gives me really bad memories.
Yeah, no double gold. It'll just be for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think it needs to be for the global title.
We don't need that ever again.
I can see Tsuji holding both titles and then relinquishing the global title to give someone else a chance. That seems like
that's a very Tsuji thing to do. I feel like it's a very Tsuji thing. But yeah, no double dash because I'm sorry, I'm still scarred by this whole Ibushi getting rid of my favorite belt, the Intercontinental belt. Honestly.
Genesis J says, shout out to J News. Yes, shout out to J News, who we're missing today. Genesis J says, can't stay a better pay-per-view, which we seem to be all in agreement with here in the chat. Now let's talk about and thank you again, Genesis J, for the super chat donation. We got the main event for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Zack Sabre Jr. defending against Ren Narita of the House of Torture. Of course, you knew House of Torture interference would happen in this matchup. The sad part is, it didn't need to happen. I think this would be an even better matchup than what I thought if it didn't happen. But nonetheless. Naturally, we get these two technical wrestlers who have a very slow, deliberate pace early on. They dance with different holds and submissions. We get rope breaks. We get some Narita kicking at the injured leg of Sabre Jr., which would show how he would take control of this matchup. Sabre Jr. would come back with the suplex for the cover as the announcer echoed a reminder of the 60-minute time limit. We get Narita, who hopped to trounce the champion with a slam, but fell to a DDT. A European uppercut returned Narita to the mat again. The challenger had brief momentum, soon losing it due to a dropkick. Sabre exposed Narita's flesh and started basically working him over with some kicks to the chest. Then he started putting on some submissions, laying into him with a hellish STF. Yujiro Takahashi came to ringside and distracted the referee so Narita could use his signature House of Torture bar weapon to terrorize Sabre Jr.'s ribs. He then went after the leg as well, which initiated a leg lock. Narita teetered with the champion, who desperately searched for a way out. Any way out, Sabre Jr. refused to go for the rope break, as he's always been able to get out submissions due to his expertise, but he had to get the rope break, showing that Narita had him so close to tapping out. Narita walked the referee to the corner so Takahashi could attack Sabre Jr. again, along with Sonata as well, who would also come out after pulling out the referee. Sabre ducked from Takahashi incoming stick and freed himself from Sonata. Thus, the House of Torture were vanquished by the champion. Young Lions escorted the heels to the back. Narita struck Sabre Jr. with a low blow. He then eventually lands a double cross, but somehow, some way, there's no referee available to count the pinfall. This allowed Narita to go for the Hell's Guillotine. But Sabre Jr. was able to fight him off. He gets him into position. He slaps the taste out of his mouth, and then finally hits him with a second Zack driver for the 1-2-3. Zack Sabre Jr. retains the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship and now moves on to verse the G1 winner, Konosuke Takeshita. Surprisingly, this was a very good matchup because they just kept it very simple. They had a very slow, deliberate pace, but it was more of like a technical wrestling clinic with Narita showing his chops on the mat. Really busting out the submissions, really having that kind of focus and having one of his better performances here, like he did against Sabre Jr. in the G1. He did that yet again. Or maybe it's just Sabre Jr. is the guy who can get this Narita out of him. Because despite this match having two separate House of Torture interferences, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, and it went 30 minutes, so I think it went 10 minutes too long, which I'm not going to go out the rim to give it like a 5-star rating. It's not even close to that, but I'll give it like 3 3/4, 4 stars. I think I might lean towards 4 stars. I'll give it 4 stars.
I was shocked. I because you mentioned you watched it twice. I spent the entire time very anxious of what was going to happen. So, like, obviously, I didn't mind the stuff with the crowbar and things like that. It's similar to Doki and his pipe. It's fine with me. Then Yujiro came out. Of all people, no one needs to see Yujiro this high on a card. You know, like, it doesn't belong there. Then Sanada, obviously, I'm divorced from Sanada now. So the man is completely off the shoot. No. And the problem is, so actually, I think someone said it took till about the 20-minute mark, 15-20-minute mark for House of the Torture interference to come in. And that first stretch, great. Narita had been working the leg from like during the tour, and that's what he was focusing. And actually, I'm not going to say this is not like, oh, Narita's as good as Zack. I'm just saying, like, if there's anyone close to Zack in terms of style, it is Ren. And that is because of the parallels, obviously, Zack and Suzuki-gun. And when Ren, that short time he was in strong style with Suzuki, and then also Shibata, and he's very proficient on the ground. That was amazing. Obviously, the issues with House of Torture. Then after that, although I was anxious that the other 4 members of House of Torture might come out, which they didn't. Again, the best wrestling I've seen from Ren in years. I'm not saying that this is, amazing, like he's going to be match of the year contender and he's like MVP of the show. I'm just saying that it's nice to know that he can still wrestle and like he's still got that. Like Zack said in the post-match, he was like, this is the closest I've been to tapping out in 8 years. Because Ren thought, like, okay, the lead up to this, the target in the leg had been outside the ring and then backstage, but that's fine. But he continued this, and that combined, actually, my favorite part in this match was when there was a leg lock, and Zack, Zack's a stubborn bastard. The man refused to go to the rope. And that was at the point I thought Ren might win this because of Zack's stubbornness.
Yeah, that was a great spot. I noted that in my notes of the matchup that he refused to go for the way he's unwilling to do it. Not against Ren.
He there's certain things Zack hates. He hates winning by pin over submission. Because for him, he hates going for the rope break because for him that's a sign of weakness. Like, what? He can't reverse something? That's unheard of for Zack. But obviously by doing this, because he was in that leg lock, and actually sometimes you can go too long in a submission, but this didn't. This worked perfectly well because Ren knows Zack. Ren knows that Zack will not go to that rope, and so he can continue working. And it's weird, right? Because I think if you combine the Evil and Takeshita match, where we got the interference out of the way, Sho and Doki facing Ichiban Sweet Boys, there was no outside interference. There was just the cheating that Doki, but like I said, the cheating that Doki would have done 2 years ago in Suzuki-gun. And then this match, it's like New Japan is showing that the House of Torture wrestlers can wrestle. There are good wrestlers in there. And like, actually, I said I didn't want to jinx it after the Evil match that Ren could do. And actually, if the only interference we got was that we got, that's a miracle. But now New Japan need to look online and go, I saw a Japanese fan going, Ren, ski dayo, which means like, I like you. Like, people were doing that with Evil. New Japan, you need to see that as thing. You can keep some level of interference. If you have one House of Torture member come out, that's fine. But learn that people will respect House of Torture's heels more if you let them do stuff like this.
Let the interference mean something and just don't do it in every freaking matchup where it becomes overwhelming and it saturates your product.
Did you watch the junior tag match?
I did.
That was fine. There was literally no
House of Torture.
And that was the level of what, like, we'd say that you'd get from like a Bullet Club of the heyday or a Suzuki-gun or something like that. Like, we can accept that. You don't have to have the House of Torture interference. I understand. Like, it's the main event. This was serious stuff. Like, they really needed Ren to win. But like, Keep it 2 members. That's fine. And they got dragged out by the Young Lions. Perfect. Keep this going forward. Like
you have to just be patient and conservative with House of Torture interference. He's just gone off the deep end with it, and it's just become so overwhelming.
Like, fair enough, if you've got really shit wrestlers, like for example, Yujiro's never gonna have a singles match, I don't think ever. But something like that, or Eva or Fale, those kind of matches, the interference, because that's only excitement you're gonna get. Even to an extent, Sonata, because Sonata's body cannot do what used to be the amazing stuff.
No.
Right? You can tell his body's not in the shape, and that's sad. But again, his style that he's worked for years has probably been to the detriment of his body. It's because he had a very, like, it's almost like he had like a junior style in a sense, but he's a much bigger guy, which was never going to work. Ospreay has said this as well. But for your guys like Doki, Sho, Ren Narita, now we've seen Uncle Nobu, you can tell, you can give them matches where there is minimal interference because they can hold it. They can hold their own in it. And like hell, this would have been fine, like you said, just having Ren doing some shenanigans with the crowbar.
Yeah, that would have been enough. But they always have to go a little too far with it.
Could have been worse.
Hopefully they learn from this being good, that you can allow them to actually have a good matchup, especially if they're going to be in the main event. They should have a good matchup.
I was relieved after this main event, I'm not gonna lie, because it could have gone a very different way. SP3.
Indeed. But that brings us to the end of our review here for Destruction in Kobe. Want to thank you all in the chat for joining us live and giving your thoughts throughout the review. Final call for super chat donations. Also, we want to hear from you. What was your match of the night? Your moment of the night? Your MVP? Your LVP? Whether you gave the show a thumbs up, thumbs down, or thumbs in the middle. And out of 10, what did you give the show? For me and Sonal, for NJPW Destruction in Kobe 2025 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. Sonal, out of 10, what did you give the show?
I'm going to say an 8.5. I can't ignore that never open weight match. And I think if I didn't have to see Yujiro's face twice in a show, it would have been higher. But actually, apart from that, it was very good. I very much enjoyed it.
This was a show that very much exceeded my expectations in a very good way. Just delivering on the final 5 matches, the matches that I expected to deliver, they all delivered at a high rate. They all closed out, and even the match that I didn't have that much expectations in, it also delivered in the main event. So yeah, I got to give this one an 8.5. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I can't go 8.5. That might be a little too high for me. But I'll give it an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for sure. What was your match of the night, Sonal?
Finlay versus Tsuji. I loved, like, for them to make me feel that much excitement with no titles on the line. Like I said, it's one of my match of the years, just because most of these top tier matches are always for something. But this was just 2 guys who know each other so well, proving why they are 2 of the best in the company.
I'm going to have to give it to Gabe Kidd versus Shingo Takagi. I always say the best never open weight matches have a hot crowd, have hard hitting action, very physically intense, but almost sometimes feel like it should be the heavyweight championship matchup because of how hard those guys fight for it. And we got it there with that global heavyweight title matchup. That was really kind of Gabe putting his stamp on the title, and Shingo kind of wrestling in a similar fashion to what he did against Jon Moxley back at Battle in the Valley last year when he wrestled Moxley's kind of deathmatch style. He wrestled kind of Kidd's kind of more chaotic heavyweight style in this matchup, so it made for a better match. So that was my match of the night. MVP for the show, I would probably give it to Zack Sabre Jr. He got a good match out of Ren Narita.
Yeah, that's
and the KO brothers, Knockout Brothers, because they had a great matchup and won the titles. So now
I was gonna say, I'm gonna cheat a bit. I'm gonna say the KO brothers. They gave me something that I didn't expect. because we've seen them wrestle, but this was the first big, just them, without the rest of the War Dogs, and they've done amazing. They've come back with such a presence, and that match was the surprise of the night. Because we said the top 4 we knew were going to be good, but this one surpassed all my expectations.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair. LVP for the show, Sonal.
I think we have the same. The Finlay.
Oh, Don Finlay. Yeah, it's definitely Don Finlay.
I thought we'd have the same one.
Definitely Don Finlay.
Did you watch that match?
Yeah, I did.
I'm sorry.
I know. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. You made a good choice. And moment of the night, I'll say it's the Knockout Brothers winning the titles.
Yeah, I think I also kind of like a moment. I like the Ishimori giving Hiromu the title, just because they've been wrestling for so many years. They've got such a hatred for each other, but this is almost like okay, fair enough. I think we're on like a better within, and almost like Ishimori giving he's passing the torch, the Noah torch from himself to he's like, I'm done with those days. This is the final thing, Hiromu. Now you're gonna be that person.
Giving it to the next generation guy that's like 1 year younger than him. But yes, we've made it to the end of this review. Appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all for watching us on demand. If you haven't already, drop the thumbs up on the video. Comment down below. Let us know what you thought about NJPW Destruction in Kobe 2025. We want to thank Sonal for joining us today. But you had your own review on your channel, so let everybody know where they can follow you on social media, where they can see your content, and anything else you want them to know.
Yeah, so obviously find me on the X at wrestling_chat. Find me on Sonal's Life on YouTube. I posted my own review yesterday of everything that happened. What's coming up? Well, I mentioned that I'm getting a Wrestle Universe subscription. So I have a poll on X, so let me know how you'd feel if I started to incorporate more and different promotions into my YouTube content. I am always interested to hear what you guys would think about that.
There you go. Give Sonal your feedback. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHeelSP3. You can follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TrueHeelHeat. Patreon.com/TrueHeelHeat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. We dropped today our GOAT match series, watching back Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from 1989, Clash of the Champions. So go over and check that out. Me and Jimmy background watching all of the greatest matches of all time and seeing where they place. But check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, including the flagship podcast, True Heel Heat 348 from this past Saturday. Check out our WWE NXT No Mercy review. That's going to be dropping later tonight right here on the channel, breaking down the latest premium live event from NXT. I will be back tomorrow at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time with Rated Raw Review, reviewing tonight's Monday Night Raw starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Netflix for all of us worldwide. So check that out. But for Sonal, it is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. This has been our NJPW Destruction in Kobe 2025 review. We are signing off until next time.